All right, you guys. I am back. I'm going to invite Dave. Thank you, Shauna Pace, for that little tidbit. Okay, so Dave, when you get on the live, let me know you're here. Hi, Jen. Dave, where are you? Robert Michael Harvey, hello. Okay, as soon as Dave's on, I can actually, there he is. You bet he's being added. Couldn't add guest person was able to join. Oh my word. You're not doing this to us, Facebook. You are. It did, Shauna. Thank you so much. I was also on my laptop, so that's why that was an issue. Let me see here. Dave. Couldn't add guest. This person was able to join because of technical issues. Why? Oh my God, you guys. It wouldn't be a coffee with Carla without technical difficulties, would it? Oh my word. Well, Jen, there might not be one on there. Okay, you know what, Dave? How about if you hit you hit it and see what happens? Oh my word. I mean, if we can't get Dave on here, this is going to not be I'm going to be very mad. Okay. We'll just keep trying. Talk amongst yourselves. And now, Dave, I can't see you on there to get you to join. Yeah, so I, earlier in the week, told Mike I wasn't going to have him come back until it's gone now. Yeah, I know, Dave. I know. I don't get it either. Oh, so frustrating. Anyways, I was going to ask Mike to come back, and then I didn't feel right about it because it is totally out of free time, and he's got lots going on his plate, and I couldn't, in good conscience, ask him back without me being able to give him a little bit of something to, you know, compensate his time and effort. And because it is a lot more obviously than we all know. But I just, so now you're stuck with just me. There he is. Oh my gosh. Dave, I think we are going to do it. I'm holding my breath. I'm holding my breath. It says you're being added. Oh, there he is. Oh my God. I only said one curse word when we were off live.
That's okay. I said a lot of curse words when I was trying to get on, so we're good. I got you covered. Trust me.
Good. Thank you. Holy. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is.
I think it was my fault.
And we are well.
I'm pretty sure it was my fault, though. It's the fat kid here's fault. My iPad was a piece of shit.
Well, I first of all was on my laptop, so you know we'll both take fault.
There you go.
Well, good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us, and disregard the first half of this live.
Oh, come on. It was fun.
Oh, my goodness. How is Dave?
Good. Still fat.
Okay. We did start the motivation group. We didn't do a thing with it.
Yeah, and I tried, and you know what? I lost 15 pounds, and then, wow, you know, I like food, and now I'm back to what I was. So, but I'm still going to try it. It just, you know.
Things happen.
Pretty much.
It's all good.
I got my Timmies, so we're good.
I'm drinking. I don't even know. It's not a great bean, but it'll do. It'll do.
Yeah.
I think there should be something stronger in it after that.
I was thinking about it, but I got to drive my daughter to her gig today, so.
Yes, you've got lots to tell us. So where shall we begin? Okay, so you were on here. probably, I'm going to say it's got to be at least 2.5 years ago
Yeah,
now.
easily, almost 3, because I'm going on my 5th year in business.
Right.
And all the shit that went on that we're going to talk about.
That's what we're going to talk about. So
Yeah,
tell everybody who you are and where you're from and what you do.
Well, I'm Dave George.
As if they
I
don't
own.
know.
Wow, you never know. There might be some new people on going, who the hell is that fat hairy guy? But you never know.
Don't they know who you are?
Yeah, don't they know? But that drives my wife nuts. She's like, yeah, like you need more to, pump you up.
Yeah. And I get in
And
trouble because we go back and forth.
But then I went to Texas and it was like, holy fuck.
Yeah. Right?
So we'll get into that. We'll get into that later. But
yeah.
So I own Dave's Insulation in New Brunswick. In a family business for years. Bounced in and out of family business to the competition and back. And well, now I'm here.
Right.
I run my own. When I originally got here, we talked about this in the last one. I came out here with a little trailer. I did work for a fella that liked my work, and then he talked to me about all this work he had, and I took a partner on, which was the worst thing I ever did. And it's because how it ended.
Yes.
The fella that I was partnered with, he's got lots of money, a hell of a lot more than I do. I mean, a lot more. If I was to burn my money, it'd be a little fire about this big.
Yeah.
It'd be a bonfire. But he's not used to being told no.
Yeah.
And you know what? For almost 3 years, he really wasn't involved with the company. Besides his original investment, didn't help the company with financially. I mean, we pulled everything out of our shit to do it. But in result, he got mad. He started his own. He got his own foam trailer, and then went after all my clients. And we had to figure out how to get rid of them, how to buy them out.
Yeah.
Now that was the challenge, because only being in business for 3 years, nobody looks at you.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't sign over the shares, so I could do it on my own.
Right.
And I'm not a real big religious person, but somebody puts people in your life for a reason. And I did work for this client, and I've done a lot of work for this guy. And I just happened to see him, and he was shooting shit with me. He says, so what's new and exciting? And I explained to him, I said, wow, I got to figure out how to get rid of my partner. And I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm a new company. Yeah. No one will do anything for me, blah, blah, blah. And he looked at me, he goes, so what do you need? I told him what I needed. He's like, so if I give you a check right now for that, that going to get rid of him? And I thought he was joking. I was like, yeah. I'm like, oh, yeah, that would fix it. He's like, okay, good. We'll go for dinner tomorrow, you and the wives. And he goes, I got to double check with my boss. I'm like, I thought he was joking. Like, we went out for dinner, and his wife's like, yeah, no, that's dirty. You don't set something up and then go after your partner while you're still partners with them.
It was terrible. I remember when this started. Remember, because we had a great big long conversation. I'm like, okay, who do we call? Like, do we call BDC? How do we make this happen? And I remember saying to you, just because he's got the money doesn't mean you can't do this. Like we're going to figure it out. And you ended up like, I remember when you messaged me and you said, oh my God, like, can you believe this kind of thing? Probably not in those words, but yes.
Well, yeah. But I mean, it's you know what? It's funny how things go, because that fellow that helped us, I said to him, I'm like, I'll give you the ownership to my trucks. And he's like, I don't need nothing, Dave. I don't want nothing.
Right.
He goes, pay me when you can. you know. And I said, well, listen, I said, we'll give you $1,000 a month, and we will do our damnedest to pay you all
Yep.
back in a year. And he's like, yep,
Yep.
nope, that's fine. And we came through. We were able to pay it off in a year. And he said to me, he goes, see, Dave, he goes, that's what it's all about. He goes, you're a hardworking man. You're honest. He goes, and you're true to your word. And you did exactly what you said you were going to do.
Yeah.
You know, and I've done a ton of work with him after that fact too. So, but you know, it all has to do with being an actual, real, honest person. Like, I mean, this guy just said to me, he goes, Dave, he goes, you're a hardworking man. You're working along with your crews. He goes, you got no reason to lie about what's going on. And he goes, and I know your partner, and I've heard things like this before.
Yes.
But never, he goes, I've always thought there was a second story to it.
Right.
He's like, but I've worked with you. We're friends. He goes, so I know what the second story is, and it's the same as what the first one is.
Yeah.
You know, so that helped. That helped a lot. But
yeah, for sure.
And, you know, I mean, I was scared. I thought we were going to lose everything because, I mean, he's got more power than I do. He's got more money. Like, I thought, Jesus. And he went around telling everyone he was going to shut me down, put me out of business.
Like what?
You know,
like
and
that's the thing. That was the thing I didn't get, because he's obviously got other businesses and other things going on. Like, let it go, dude.
yeah, just let the little fish go. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm here to make a living, put my kid through
Right.
school, you know, like.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's kind of funny though, because he went around and told people that he was going to shut me down, that I'm gonna put him out of business. And the best part is, I mean, we took a big risk and begged and pleaded and used our credit cards and set up an attic machine when I didn't technically have the work for it.
Right.
But I thought I have to do it, and even Tina was like, "There's a lot of money." Like, I mean, we pushed out 15 grand that we didn't have.
Right.
And I'll tell you, we've killed it. I mean, the first year being away from him was our best year we've ever had.
Yeah.
You know, and all this work he said he was going to take from us, we took from him.
Yeah.
We actually took work from him.
Yeah.
And it's, you know what I mean, and it's nothing against the guy that's doing his foam, because the guy that's doing the foam, he's a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there. I don't even know if it's him that's organized or if it's just my old partner, because I know when I was with him,
Yeah.
he didn't know what end was up.
Right. Yeah.
Right, and that was the thing. So we're glad we're away from it. I mean,
Uh-huh.
we had a great first year. This year we're having a good year. You know, we had a few employee problems and stuff that I'm still dealing with now, but
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I don't like talking about anyone, but the fella that was here, it just didn't work out. His experience wasn't what he proclaimed it to be. Nice enough guy, but the end of what went on, which I won't get into because I just, you know, trying to be nice.
That high road always sucks, but it's probably better.
Yeah, and I do a lot of high road trucking driving, I'll tell you. Geez.
Yes, you do.
But you know what? Whatever. It was a chapter. I thought I had someone that would be kind of like a mini me, going by his experience, which was not at all. Just didn't work. Not a good fit. Moved on. You know, I got two young guys one kid, Colton, he's been with me. This is his third summer. The other fella, Christian, he's been with me now for over a year, and he excels like no one I've ever seen. Like, and we've been doing attics, and I've done a few things to help him be better at it. Like, I set up a laser level.
Yes.
To make it easier for him to do the attics. And you know what? He's awesome. And there's no complaining, and they do their work and whatever. You know, I can count on him. So
yeah.
But it's been a cool 2.5 years. Like, I mean, business is good. People, the farmers around here know who I am. it's kind of funny. The other day, I was with my wife driving the truck, and people are going by, and I'm waving. I'm like, doo, 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 and she's like,
Yep.
I'm like, what? She's like, it's like Kitchener all over again. Because in Kitchener, when we were in Ontario, everybody knew who I was.
Yeah.
And now she's like, oh my God, it's like Ontario all over again. Everyone that drives by, it's like, oh, hey, Dave. Oh, hey,
Yeah.
Dave.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, we had other than the business, like, I mean, big things. I mean, my daughter's in university now.
Yes, she is.
So, I mean, last time we talked, I don't even think she had her license yet. So I bet you it's been 3 years.
Because when she came on and did like and sang and stuff on A
Yeah.
Coffee with Carla, yeah, like she didn't have her license. I'm
I don't
pretty
think
sure.
so. She
Yeah.
might have just been 16. She's 19 now.
And she's doing amazing.
She is, you know, like
That kid.
she got into um the short form for it is Saint Effects, but it's Saint Xavier something or another out in Antigonish, Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
But she's a jazz major. So but she's
Yeah.
doing very, very well with it. Like today, she's got a gig today,
Uh-huh.
and it's at a local ice cream shop,
Wow.
right?
She
So
I follow her on TikTok, and I'm telling you, and we talked about this, but she sang that Amy Winehouse song,
yeah,
and I was like, oh, like I remember when you posted her. I think it was in your guys' living room, and she was just like playing, and she had no training. She was
that was
self-taught, and I was like, hang on, what? Like she was so good then. Well,
and that was when
fast
we first
forward.
got here.
Oh,
That was like
she's
5 years ago,
yeah. And I
which
remember
is
that
crazy.
because she was singing, was she singing House of the Rising Sun or something, one of
Probably,
those that
yeah.
genre kind of. And she was fantastic.
Well, it's funny. Like she's born in the wrong era.
Yeah,
She should have
she's an
been
old
born
soul.
like, oh, big time. You know, like,
Yeah,
so it's kind of neat, and it's neat to see how, I hate to say this, how grown up she is.
yeah,
I shouldn't say
yeah,
it's neat. It scares the shit out of me.
yeah. Yep,
Like it does. Like, I mean,
yeah,
she's so grown up now. She's not my little girl anymore.
yeah,
You know? I mean, she'll always be my little girl, but you know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Like
I
and
do.
now I gotta double think when I say, hey, do you want to go on the Harley for a ride? Because
Yeah,
I can no longer do that with her. Because she's
right.
now a woman.
Yeah.
And I would look like a dirty old man with a 19-year-old on the back of my bike.
Ooh, you're one of
I,
those guys.
I, I went on a ride yesterday. It was a toy run for the hospital
Yeah,
in Perth. And
yeah,
at first I was like, oh, Katie can go with me. I'm like, oh, no, she can't.
yeah,
I'm like, no. I'll look
yeah.
like a creepy old man with a 19-year-old on the back of my bike. You know? Where
Yeah.
before it was like, get on there, kid, and we go. And we'd be gone for hours. Right? So,
It's cool seeing them as adults. Like my kids are like 28 and soon to be 25. And I mean, it's cool. It's a pretty cool thing when they are adults and you get to hang out with them as adults. Like it's very awesome. But yeah, it's that transition is it's crazy. It's
I got a
crazy.
story for you.
Yeah.
So this kid comes back from university. She is now 19,
Yeah.
fully legal to go to the bar. She comes
Right.
upstairs and she says, hey, Dad. I said, what's up? She goes, do you want to go bowling and get drunk? I'm like,
Pardon?
okay. So me and her went to the bowling alley
Yeah.
and we bowled and drank. And then like I was telling you before, that one employee of mine, Colton, the kid might as well be my son. He looks just like me. He's got the
Yes, he
goatee.
does.
It's
Yeah.
retarded. So
Yeah.
me and Katie, Catherine, I got to call her Catherine because I'll get in shit if I don't. We're at the bowling alley, and she's like, well, where's Colton? I'm like, well, I'm sure he's home. Like, 45 minutes away, because that's how long of a drive it is. She's like, well, let's just call him. I'm like, what? She's like, well, my brother's going to come out and drink with us. So we FaceTimed him. He showed up an hour later.
Oh my
at
goodness.
the bar and became me and Katie's D&D. So it's been pretty. It is.
Yeah.
But
she's gonna come on. She's gonna come on and she's gonna tell us all of her happenings. Because I said she made a comment about this live, and I said, well, we got to figure out when you're gonna come on, because I know she's got lots to talk about.
Oh yes, yeah, for sure. No, but it's, you know what, it's kind of neat. Then I got the opportunity to go to Texas.
Yes, you did.
Spray Foam Worldwide Party. I didn't get to stay at the party long because I screwed up my knee.
Yes.
I went down the stairs and just about did a barrel roll, and that was it. I'm like, okay, I got to go back to the hotel because my knee's toast. But that whole, like when I showed up there, I mean, I see everybody on Facebook and I help anyone I can. You don't realize how many people want to meet you until you go.
That's right.
And then it's like overwhelming.
Yeah.
And
everybody's so awesome, and they're so helpful, and they're so kind, and they're just like, it's amazing.
Yeah. But at one point I went and hid in the hotel room. Because it was so much. I was like, I gotta go.
So we should back it up, because there's like, when did you join Spray Foam Worldwide? What year did you join? Like, I joined in the very beginning.
I was here pretty much when I moved here.
Okay.
So that would have been
pretty close to the beginning.
2017.
Yeah. So
So I don't think it was too far off from there.
Okay. So how did you find Spray Foam Worldwide? Do you remember?
No, I think I was just surfing.
Yeah, and you found it.
I'm like, what is this? Spray foam? What? Hold on.
Yeah.
And I clicked on it and I'm like, oh, what is this here? And then I seen a bunch of guys that are on it. I'm like, oh, I know them. Like Mike and Sean. And I'm like, I know those guys. Oh, all right, I'll join. And then that was it, right?
Yeah.
And then I started doing like little videos and whatever, just being me. And we went from there. But I mean, the funniest part, I would say, of everything in Texas is when people actually met me.
Yeah.
And they're like, I thought you were tall.
It's because you hold your phone down here and you look tall.
Everybody, they're like, Dave George is short. I'm like,
the biggest scandal of the party.
It was funny. I laugh like hell.
Oh my God.
A few of the guys that went up, I said, hey, how you doing? They're like, you're short. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, we thought you were like this monster of a man. I said, wow, I'm a monster of a man, but I'm this short.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
it was
like, I always like to shout out Spray Foam Worldwide, because if it wasn't for them, none of this would be going on, probably.
Right.
We wouldn't know each other. Like, we wouldn't have, I call it our FOMally, we wouldn't have our FOMally, which is like one of the best things ever. So there's too many amazing people without Spray Foam Worldwide that wouldn't be connected.
Why? You know what? It's funny because now that I've met them, but before this,
Yeah.
some of what I considered my best friends that I talked to and vent to and everything,
Yep.
spray foam worldwide, like
Yep.
Rusty and Josh and like all of them.
Yeah.
Never met them before, but I considered them one of my best friends.
Yep.
Right, so it was pretty wicked to go and meet them.
Yeah.
Even though they were expecting a tall Dave George.
Yeah.
Next time I'll wear some like 4-inch heels or something.
You better get high-heeled Crocs.
Yeah. Well, that was the next thing because my feet were hurting me, and I said to who was it? I think it was Robert. I said to him, could you drive me to Walmart? And he's like, oh. I'm like, I gotta go buy some Crocs. My feet killing me. And he was just like, yeah, okay. All right. So I went to Walmart and bought Crocs. So, but it was a pretty. Sorry?
No, I was going to say, because I knew it was going to be, like, I know when I went, it was like, it wasn't even close to the amount of people that were there. Like, I went to Pasadena, so it was like way less people. But I knew when you were going to go, I was like, oh boy, like, he's not going to understand what's going to happen here because this is going to be a big, because it is.
Sorry.
It's a big
Sorry
deal.
about that.
So you're a big deal and it's a big deal. And I thought, oh my goodness, like this is going to be a lot. But it ended up being, I think, even better than what I thought. Because when you messaged me and told me when you met Jen.
That was, you know what? But you know what?
I still get choked up.
That's what kills me the most.
Yeah.
You say that I'm a big deal. I do not in any way see myself as a big deal in any way.
I know you don't.
But the way people acted towards me, it floored me. Like, especially with Jen. She is such a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Like, she's an absolute sweetheart. And when I come down the stairs and I seen her, I'm like, hey, Jen. And she looked over. And when she come run over and jumped and she's in tears, and I'm like, hey, why is someone this happy to see a fat, old, bald, spray foam guy? Like,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure I ain't made of gold or nothing. And I probably stunk a little too. Who knows? Because we were out in the fucking heat all day. So I don't know. But it just floors me how they make you feel when you go down to these things.
Yeah.
Like I said to Tina, and it was funny. Tina goes, "Don't let it go to your head."
Yeah.
I'm like, I felt like a frickin' movie star.
Yeah.
You know, like everywhere I looked, people were taking a picture, or they were like, "Hey, Dave George!" And I'm like,
well, I had, and I've forgotten her name now. I think her name on Facebook. It's Gris. So I don't know how to pronounce. I'm not sure if it's Gris or Grizz but anyways, she was messaging me because I was getting messages from people at the event asking where things were because I think they thought I was there. And I'm like, oh, well, hang on. And so I was giving people directions, and then she came on and I said, well, go here and, do this and whatever. And I was kind of talking with Jen behind the scenes too, like, where is this thing? And she said, at one point she took a picture and you were in the background. And she's like, oh, there's Dave George, and I'm too embarrassed to say hi. I'm like, you go and say hello. Yeah, and I was like, you go and say hi to him.
The one girl, it was funny because the one girl come up to me, and she's like, I don't want you to think I'm a stalker. And I'm like, okay.
Yes.
And I'm oblivious to it, but she was hanging around for like 10 minutes trying to get my attention, but I'm like, watching everyone else.
Yeah.
And she was so excited, and I've never met her. I don't even know. I never knew who she was. She was all excited to meet as she said, the famous Dave George. And I'm like,
Yeah. Okay.
okay, I don't know what I'm
I
famous for, but it sure
I
as hell
think,
ain't my looks.
I think though it is because, and I know this is why it is. It is because since the beginning, you have always done, you've done videos and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
like, and some of them have been just for just for fun, but you
yeah.
have always you always give more. And like, that's in all areas. You are like, you give, like I said, I think in my video when I was saying we were coming live, you've given a million, you know, a million times, and probably a million and one have been burnt, and you'll continue to give, you'll keep doing it. But
Yeah.
you give value in worldwide, because you've done videos about, like, I don't even know what to use as an example. Like, this is how you, like, this is what I do to fix this
Right.
part or whatever. You know what I
Well,
mean?
I mean, I
You,
know it's kind of funny, like that one. It's actually one of the first videos I did was the air test for your gun before you put it on.
mm-hmm.
And then Robert does his video on a rebuild test, like a rebuild
Yeah.
video on YouTube. And when it comes to checking if it works, he goes, and as Dave George has taught us all, we do our air test. And I'm like, oh, that's too much. And this was before
Yes.
I met him,
Yeah.
right? But when I did that video, there was guys that have been doing it as long as I have, and they're like, I never knew that. Like they had no idea. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I've been doing this since whatever, right?
Well, and
Um,
I think that's the beauty of worldwide, is because you could, it's it's excellent for the new people, but for even the
like Sean,
veterans and the OGs, like,
yeah.
there's things that you guys do that you think that everybody probably knows, but maybe they don't.
Well, it's like Sean had just said, using an old sock for a wrist guard. I did that video with Mel, and then Mel in the video makes fun, and she goes, "Oh, and with the leftover sock, it's a boob warmer." Like
Yes.
that. Like, so we did stuff like that. We still
Yeah.
had fun with it too,
Yeah.
right? But you
Yeah.
know what? See, the thing is the reason I do the videos and stuff and help people out as much as I can. I mean, I was taught that by my dad. My dad said you
Yeah.
help everyone. But my problem is when I was younger, well, when I was younger, I was a meathead. Straight up, I was a meathead. I was into drugs. I was just, yeah, I wasn't what I am now.
Yeah.
And when I worked with family, I was always kind of put on the back burner when they were fixing something. They'd be like, "Oh, you don't know, go, you don't know shit, just go away."
Hmm.
Right? Meanwhile, you tend to pick stuff up after watching someone for so long.
Right.
So part of the reasons I do the videos is if you're new and you don't know shit,
Yeah.
I'll teach you shit. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
because everyone needs a hand sometime, no matter who you are. I don't care how long you've been doing it.
Yeah.
There's always something that needs help with, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then the other videos I do every once in a while is suffering in silence. I did that because you know what? I come
Yes.
from a amazing background. My parents are great. My family are great. It's not like we had or needed or wanted anything when we were kids. And I still got into drugs
Yeah.
on my own, right?
Yeah.
Even having a good background, a good family upbringing, all that other shit. So I would do those videos because you know what? Even if you have a good background, sometimes you need someone that doesn't know you to say it's
Yes.
all right. Or, stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
hearing from someone that you don't even know that it's going to be okay. And if you want to talk, it helps. That's huge.
Hmm.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
what I learned a long time ago. So,
I'll tell
but
you what, like, that probably, like, that out of all the things, that very component is probably the most important one that is done when you guys do those posts. And it's random that that happens, but like, it'll pop up, and it pops up, I feel like it always pops up at the perfect time
Yeah.
because somebody is out there doing exactly what you just said. And I'll tell
Yeah.
you what, like, since I started doing this and talking to you guys and like having people come on and talk about that part of their life that they've gone through and are still going through, and like, because it doesn't go away, like you still have
Right.
to deal with it, right?
Yeah.
But because people see how you are now, they think, oh, well, like they're all good. And it is, doesn't mean everybody's all good. Everybody goes
No.
up and down, and it's that life. And like when you were going through your stuff with your business, like it, that's, there's always going to be hard. There's
Yeah.
always going to be hard.
You know what? I mean, thank God myself, I have a support system here with my wife, Tina, and my
Yeah.
child that shit that went on with my business, if it would have been any other time, or if my wife wasn't here, or if I didn't have them, I know
Yeah.
exactly what would have happened. I would
Yeah.
have went and did something that I would extremely regret.
Yeah.
And then I go down that rabbit hole. And that's, I mean, having the support of them makes things a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
But I remember the very first video I did where it was, suffering in silence. I had one guy in particular that got a hold of me, like,
Mhm.
God, I think it was maybe half an hour afterwards.
Mhm.
And he's like, I don't know you. He goes, but I
Yeah.
needed that video. And I said, dude, if you need to talk, like, let me know, like, call me or
Mhm.
whatever. He called me. He goes, you know what, Dave? He goes, I don't know you. I've seen you on Facebook a few times, and you always had neat stuff to do and say. And he
Mhm.
goes, but I'll tell you, he goes, I was sitting here, I had the letter filled out, and I was ready to just end it. He
Yeah.
goes, and your video just got to me where, you know what? Sounds like he's done the same thing that I'm doing right now. And look at him. He's done all right. So there's got to be a light at the end of the tunnel. And I said, there always
That's
is,
right.
man. Might take longer to get to it, but there always is.
Yeah.
you know?
I've had a guy, there's a guy too recently who we reached out and, like through another member of Worldwide and, said, send him the video that we did on A Coffee with Carla. Then, and he was in the group chat with us. So I sent the videos and stuff, and he reached out like a few days later, and he's like, oh boy, like you're in trouble now. Cause like I need some words of like positivity. I'm like, so then I'm like, oh, so I don't know. I said whatever I said, and it was like, he's like, I said, you've got like, go on there because there's so many conversations.
yeah.
Like your conversation, Rusty, like
Yeah.
I can name, like Chris Cullum was on, like there's a
Yeah.
number that have come on and been like gracious enough to share that and open enough to share that. Cause a lot of people, they might go through that. They don't want to share that part.
Right. But it's kind of funny because Chris is the guy that actually got me doing those videos.
Really?
I had a conversation,
Sweet.
and before I did a video, I had a conversation with him, and he's like, Dave, and this was after we did Coffee with Carla. He
Yeah.
goes, Dave, he goes, I'm pretty sure most of the members didn't actually know
Yeah.
your story, didn't know where you came from. He goes, and he said there's a group of us that when someone needs someone,
Mm-hmm.
we have kind of a list. And he goes, it'd be great if you could do a video on your troubles or whatever. And I said to him, I said, yeah, I'll figure something out.
I
And then
never
I think
knew
it was,
that.
yeah. And then it was like, I think 2 weeks later, I
Mm-hmm.
I did my first Suffering in Silence. And I said to him, I said, Chris, is that kind of what you're looking for? And he's like, Dave, that's awesome. So he's
Yeah.
the one who, I'll be honest, I give it to him. He's the one who kind of got me going on doing the videos like that.
Chris is
Because
one of those guys who is like quiet as hell in the back. Like he's there.
yeah,
He's
but
not like out in your face. He's
right.
so awesome.
But you
He's
know what?
so awesome.
He's the one that really got me thinking about, you know what? There's a lot of guys in this trade
Yeah.
that are going through the same shit. And
Mm-hmm.
the thing is, spray foam in general, insulation trade in general, whether it's spray foam, addicts, I don't
Yeah.
care what it is. There's a lot of it in this industry. It just, I don't know why, but it is. It's here.
Yeah.
And I didn't really kind of think about that until Chris said that. He's like, there's
Yeah.
a group of us, you know, that if someone's in need or needs someone to talk to, we kind of have kind of a list on who you can talk to. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. I said, yeah, I'd be willing to do something. And then I did that. So, but he's a good guy. I really like him. I don't really hear, like you said, you really don't hear a
He's
lot
just
about
quiet.
him. Yeah, you really don't hear much. So, but
And
I
he's
mean,
excellent. He's excellent at what he does too. And he never
right.
he doesn't share very much, but
No.
he was on as well. And just like, again, just everybody that has been on and shared that, it's interesting to me, the response afterwards, because I
Yeah.
get the messages behind the scenes after, and the impact that has
Yeah.
it's astronomical, and it's because of the guy that's sitting there behind the scenes. He doesn't talk to anybody, but he can watch Facebook, and he
Yeah.
can hear, and he can see, and it's like I firmly believe you guys sharing those stories has saved people's lives.
Oh,
For
for sure.
sure it has,
I'm
like you
sure. I
just said.
mean,
Yeah,
and if it didn't completely save him, it made him think.
it made them think.
You know,
They
maybe if
have
it
to
even
save
just,
themselves.
that's right. Oh yeah, because
Yeah.
you can't make someone do it. But I
No.
mean, one thing I wanted to say, because we're live, there's one thing I wanted to say about Texas. Out of everyone that I have been looking forward to meeting, there is one
Mhm.
guy, and I'm pretty sure you know which one I'm going to say. There is one guy that I've been doing this a long time, and there is one guy in this industry that is like God to me, and it's Rusty.
Yeah.
That man, he he is just, I don't I, it's hard to put in words.
It's a
You know,
hundred
like
percent hard to put in words. I can't, because I start crying.
yeah, I just he's
Yeah.
such a he's just such a cool guy. I mean, and the stuff he knows, and the thing that kills me is the appreciation he gives to everyone.
Yeah.
It's not, you know what I mean? Like a guy that has the skill that he has, the heart that that man has is
Yeah.
beyond me. He's got the
It
biggest heart
is.
I've ever heard of in anybody. Like, I mean, I
Yeah.
got a big heart, but that guy makes me look like Smurf. You know, like he's just a genuine person, and that was my biggest thing when I went there was I wanted to meet Rusty. That was the guy I had to meet.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, like
He's
he's amazing.
When he knew that we were coming to Pasadena, he's like, "Well, where are you flying into?" I'm picking you guys up, and I was like, "Oh!" Like I said to Rex, "Rusty's gonna pick us up." Like he's like, "What? Really?" Like we're both like, "What?" And he did.
Yeah.
He picked up a few of us, but like he picked us up, and it was like, I can't believe I'm sitting in the car with Rusty. Like it was,
Well, I mean,
oh
and I mean, not to take anything against from anyone else, like Mark
no,
and Josh and
like
Robert and
yeah,
all of them. I mean, they're wicked. Like, I don't know if you heard of the shit show that happened to me with the airport and everything else. And,
yes, I sure did.
oh, well, I actually, yeah, I'm sure I told you all about it.
You did.
But the thing that kills me the most is I sent these guys a message. I'm like, what a shit show. I missed my plane because the girl was a complete bitch and this,
Yeah,
that. And now I gotta get a COVID test that it said I
yeah,
didn't need. By the time I got back to that freaking hotel, they already had it figured. Oh, we know exactly where to go, Dave. Let's go. I'm like, what
yeah,
the fuck?
yeah,
You know, and it was awesome though, because I was kind of glad that girl was a bitch and did screw things up for me that day. Because me and Josh and you know and Mark, we all went out on a travel and checked out Texas,
yeah. That's
and it was
right. You said it
wicked.
was such an awesome day. Yeah,
It was the best day of the whole thing because I mean we went down to the Alamo. It was just it was something
yeah,
else. So it was kind of neat it happened the way it did.
yeah,
But
for sure. I mean, that's the thing. Worldwide is I think, and I've said this from the beginning, because it is and anybody that knows me that's not a part of like this world,
Yeah.
that worldwide ends up in the conversation always. I'm like, oh yeah, well, this person from worldwide, and they're like, what is that? So it's like it's like people that are not in this industry, if they've heard one term, it's always spray foam worldwide.
Yeah.
These
Yeah. No,
people from spray
exactly.
foam worldwide, and they're like, who
Yeah.
is that? And it's like, well, they're people that I call my family, and it's the connection. But the other thing that I love about it really is that it has proven time and time again that competitors can work together
Yeah.
and actually be both successful,
Yeah.
both grow, both like carry on and make the industry better and stronger.
Absolutely. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, that's just like my competitor up in Fredericton,
Yeah.
Matt's Insulation.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
we're competitors. It's not like we go for beers all the time, but we're not mean to each other either. You know,
Right.
and the other day I had a job that was just too far away from my base. I mean, it would have been 2 hour drive for me where it was an hour for him. And I phoned Matt. I said, Matt, I said, I did work for this guy's daughter and I've done work for his mom or the daughter's mom. I
Yeah.
said, nice guy. He's looking at getting some work done. I said, but it's just too far away from my base. I said, with cost of fuel and everything, I just can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And Matt's like, well, geez, thanks, Dave. I sent him the info on the customer. I gave the customer his info. And I'm not sure if he went and did the work. I'm sure he did. But Matt's
Yeah.
like, no, thanks, Dave. Right on. But
Yeah.
because I know Matt's going to do the same thing I will. Matt gives a
Yes.
shit about his work. Right.
Yes.
He's
Yep.
not just in, out, and get it done and, give me the money. He wants to do a good job. And that's
Yep.
the same as I am,
That's right.
So, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. There's just a lot of shit.
I
That
think
is.
too, through COVID and through the last 2 years, which is something nobody would have ever dreamed would have happened,
Yeah.
shortages in the supply shortages and all of that. We
Yeah.
should address that. We should talk about that too, because
Yeah.
you have been with the same company
I've
forever.
used, yeah. My brother, well, see, with Elasticam Specialty Coatings,
Yeah.
they do Insulfane Extreme. Um, we were one of the first people to ever spray the HFO foam when they first came out with it.
Yeah.
We did a lot of stuff with Elasticam with my brother's company, and my brother's been loyal to them, and I won't use anyone else.
Yeah.
Insulfane Extreme is a great product, but the
Mhm.
difference is Elasticam as a company, they're just good people.
Yeah.
Point blank, they're good people. Sam and his mom and dad and Mark, the salesman that I've dealt, and well, Mark's known me since I was,
Little. Yeah.
a
Yeah.
little, but you know what? They're always there if I need them. And if I'm doing a job that means like a charity or whatever, they're always willing to help one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So they're a good company, and it's a family-run company. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Right? And with the shortages, we've been lucky because they have made sure, like Elasticam has made sure I've always had my foam.
Yeah.
I've always got what I needed. I've never had to beg and plead. It's always been there.
Yeah.
May have took a week to get or whatever, but we've always got our product, always. Which is good.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, we see it a lot with the guys and the women and men in the industry in the States, where it's like they can't find it. They like,
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know in Canada, but I feel like I think for the most part, whatever company people use, loyalty does count. Like
Huge.
loyalty does count.
Huge.
As it
huge.
should. As it should. And anybody that I know that's loyal to whatever company, it's been the same thing. They've gotten what they needed. That company stood with them. They backed them. So, I mean, that's a huge factor in what
Yeah.
was going on, which is out of, like, nobody would have predicted that. Nobody would have
No.
known. Like,
No, you're right.
we're in brand new waters for the industry in general.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a competitor, I won't even mention their name, but there's a competitor up from me. They couldn't even get foam.
Yeah.
I had customers call me and say, "Oh, well, they were going to do our job, but they can't get foam." I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah.
well, I can do it, but I'm still booked out 2 weeks." And if my price was higher, well, your price is higher. I'm like, "Okay, but that's my price."
Yeah.
Well, they can do it cheaper. I'm like, "No, actually, they can't, because as you told me, they can't get
They
foam."
don't have any foam.
So, and they're like, "Oh, you're just gouging me because I'm like, "I'm not gouging anyone. This is what I need for my services. You don't want to use me? Okay." I
So
mean,
that,
I've got a customer right now, a farmer. He only uses me, period. And he says, "You know what, Dave? Yep, you're not the cheapest guy out there." He goes, "But you know what, Dave? When you come in and do your work, you do the work. It's done right. I don't have to double check things, and I don't have to worry about it. And when you schedule that you're going to be there, you're there and it's done." He goes, "That means more than anything."
yeah.
He goes, "Price is price." He goes, "But services outweighs it, right? And quality of work." So that kind of gives me a little bit of a leg up anyhow.
Well, I think too, it's not like, and I learned that as well. Like, just that was always my biggest fear was, oh, like maybe that's too much, or maybe that's not, like, I don't, so I'd always like
Yeah.
waver. And then I was like, you know what? No, like, this is it. I'm like, that's my price. And when I did that, that's when things started going better.
Yeah.
And it was like that fear. Don't let that fear run. And not everybody is supposed to be your customer. Let's
That's
also
right.
just say that. Not
Yeah.
everybody is supposed to be your customer. And I don't care what anybody says, the customer is not always right.
You're right. Well, you know what? You'd laugh. The other day I went to a job and I looked at him and I said, "Well, I just want to let you know that like we're booked out till probably the first week of August." "Well, I need it done today." Or this week. And I'm like, "Sorry,
Mhm.
can't do it." If he would have approached me a different way, because I'll explain how he approached me, because the next words that uttered out of his mouth was, "What? You don't work 7 days a week?" And I'm like, "No, I
Yeah.
don't." I said, "Monday to Friday." I said, "Weekends are for my family."
Yeah.
If he would approach me on, "Dave, is there any way you could come out on Saturday just to get, I know I'm asking a lot." If he would have asked me the proper way, you know what? Me and Katie would have jumped in the truck and probably did the damn job.
Yeah.
But because the guy expects, well, you own the company, what, you don't work 6 or 7 days a week? And I just looked at him, I'm like, "No, I don't." I said, "I
Yeah.
came to New Brunswick to slow down, not to work my bag off." I said, "No, thanks." I said,
Yeah.
"No, you can call someone else."
Yeah.
"Well, I need it done." I said, "Well, good luck."
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
when I gave him a price, I made sure she was good and high because I don't want his work now.
Yeah.
Now you can wait for someone else. But that's the thing. I mean, some customers, they just expect, because you're the business owner, that you live, breathe, and sleep work.
Right.
No. You know what? Saturday, I went out on a ride with my employees on the Harleys to support a good cause toy run for kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was my Saturday. And it was great because I got to spend time with my employees on not an employee level, on friends.
Yes.
Like we're going out, we're riding the bikes, having fun, giving each other the finger, whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but it's kind of cool. It's
Yeah. I think that it's that mentality that has been driven into people, and it's worse with social media. It's a
yeah,
million times worse. Work 24/7,
yeah,
365. Like, I don't think we're meant to work our life and then drop dead and be done. Like,
yeah,
it your brain, your body, your brain, everything needs rest. It needs
Absolutely.
downtime. And
Yeah.
if you don't take that, it's going to come back and haunt you.
Yeah, for
A
sure.
million percent.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's like, with my family out in Glaze Bay, I hadn't seen him in probably a year and a half, 2 years. I went down the last long weekend.
Yeah.
It was a blast. I go down there, my ma's there, my sisters. It was just a good time.
Yeah.
And me and my sister, Danielle, the night before I was supposed to leave, my God, I think we talked from 12:30 at night till like 3:30 or 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
Just about everything, about life, about how it is with me and her and Ma. And
Yeah.
it's just cool that, you know what, you got to separate you from work and everything and just enjoy it. Oh, what's
Yep.
going on? Oh, the
Hi.
real boss. The real boss is here.
The real boss makes an appearance. Yay.
Oh yeah, I got the headset and she can't hear you. Hey,
Well,
what
that
time
was
is 3:30? 3:30, okay. I got it because Katie's got all her.
Oh, yes, her gig.
Yeah, but that's 3:30, so we're good.
Yeah. Okay. I was going to
But-
say, is there something that we were going to talk about that we haven't addressed?
I'm not sure.
I don't think so either. I don't know either.
Oh,
But
my
yes.
new truck.
Oh, yes. You know what? We do have to talk about the significance of that truck,
Yes.
because
So-
there is significance to that.
Yes, because with everything that went on with the partner and him saying he was
Yeah.
going to put us out of business, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So, you just seen the boss, everyone.
Yeah.
That is the boss. She gave me permission to find another truck, a newer truck. She's actually the one who found that truck online. I
Is
didn't.
she?
Yeah.
Oh,
So, and the funny part is the whole story is we went to Moncton, 3-hour drive from here, to look at another truck. When we got there, it was a shit show. The salesman was a meathead, and it was just a truck that they wanted 40 grand for, and it was a 2013. And I'm like, no.
yeah.
Even though it was a diesel. So on the way back from Moncton, we're talking. I said to Tina, she goes, why don't you go to a 1500, like a half-ton truck? And I'm like, well, if I'm going to step down to a smaller truck, I want it to be a fancy truck.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, whatever. So we go for dinner, and she's looking online, and she's like, well, what about this one? And now she's gonna know this, but I grabbed the phone, and I'm like, why? It's okay. I'm like, yeah, I guess. 2017 Longhorn. And I'm like, it'll do. Inside I'm going, yeah. Freaking out. So what we did was we set it up, and then the following weekend I went and looked at it, and I had to go out to Nova Scotia to look at it. So I went for a rip in this truck, and the salesman laughed because they all had a bet on if I would squeal the wheels when I left the dealership.
Oh, funny.
Because I'm used to driving a big diesel.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And then I got back, and then I was like, okay. So we do all the, the financial bullshit, and we said, let's see if Dave's Insulation as a company will take the loan. Guy's like, okay. And then come back, and it did.
Yeah.
Dave's Insulation took it, which is, for us, I mean, most people would look at it and go, so? And it's like, no.
Yeah.
That shows us that our business is getting somewhere.
Yeah.
We're getting a credit rating. We're getting, we've as I used to say, we've climbed the hill, and now we're on the downward of the hill.
Yeah.
Right? It just shows that all the hard work we've done means something.
Yes.
Right? And not only
Every,
that, I got,
all the times you have given
yeah,
without expectation, it comes back.
right. And not only that, I will say this. I got to go see my family in Ontario that, wow, there's a few of the family members that said I would never be able to do it and I'd be back.
Yeah.
And I pulled up in a nice Dodge Longhorn.
No
That's a
big
little bit of
deal.
a, it's a little bit of a, haha, fuck you.
Yeah, right?
You know, so
In a very subtle way.
pretty much,
Yeah.
yeah, I did everything but say that.
Yeah.
I pulled, and the best part was my one nephew, he's a roofer and he's going out west. They were having a party for David the day that we showed up. So I pulled
Oh,
into the backyard of my parents' house in the driveway,
yeah.
and everyone's there.
Yeah.
And before we went, Tina, she's like, "You're such an ass." I knew everyone was there, and I said, "Tina, we have to go through a car wash." She's like, "Why?" I said, "Truck has to be shiny when I pull up. Has to be
Yeah.
shiny." She's like, "You're such a dink." But whatever.
Oh, man. But it is
Yeah.
significant because that is exactly what you said for like the new guys watching who are starting out and all of that stuff. You gotta go through, you
A
gotta go
lot of
through the
crap.
shit.
Yeah.
Yep. But
Yeah, you
if
gotta
you
go
can
through
get
the shit.
through it, if you can get through it and hang on, it'll be okay. It'll
Yeah.
come back.
And once again, I'll go back to this again to Rusty.
Yep.
That's who I strive to be. Because I watched when Rusty on Facebook, when he bought that little shitbox trailer when he first started on his own,
Yep.
right? And a beat up machine, and you look at the guy now, and all I tell myself is one day I'll be Rusty.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I'll have good guys working for me. I'll have a couple units running. I'll be doing and making moves and doing my thing. And you know what? When I look at someone like Rusty, because very similar,
Yep.
he can do it, I can do it.
I will
You know what I
say
mean?
that I use you guys every time, and I'm not kidding. And because you told me you lived there for a brief stint, was when we were in Vancouver and we would go down Hastings, and you look at all
I
of
know
those
that
people.
very well. Yeah.
You know all of those people, and before I knew any of you guys, it'd be like, oh, like these, like, like it's like you're just kind of going like, what the hell, like, and then talking to you guys and your stories and whatever, and we would drive through there, and every time I would say to Rex, these people, that's Dave, that was Rusty, that
Yep.
was Jen, that was whoever, like, you know what? They could come out of that.
Yep. It's
And
kind of funny.
when you
I
told me
just,
that you
well,
were
I
down
just,
there,
yep.
oh,
Well, it's kind of funny. I just seen on here that Mary Cramp, that is my sister from Ontario. She's
yeah,
watching. I don't know if she's still watching.
yeah,
She's awesome. I just wanted to say hi to Mary.
yeah,
But you know what I mean? Yeah, I mean I had colored pass and I've done my stuff and I've worked my way out, right?
yeah,
And there was a lot of people in my family that said I wouldn't do it out here and I couldn't do it and I'd be back and blah blah blah. And
yeah,
well, I mean, I hate to say it, I proved that wrong now. I have probably a better relationship with my dad than I ever have.
yeah,
You know, not saying my dad didn't like me or nothing. I'm just saying when I was in
yeah,
Ontario, I didn't really have the relationship I have with my father now.
yeah,
You know, and I'll say, you know, like my dad, well, he's a lot more telling people his feelings now. Like he never really used
yes,
to be like that. You always knew dad loved you. Oh yeah, I'm
yeah,
100%. And Mary will say the same thing. But my dad went through prostate cancer, and it was almost like after that shit went on,
Yeah.
Dad was a little different. You heard "I love you" a lot more, and since I've been
Yeah.
out here, I get proud. I send my dad messages of, "Hey, I'm doing this," and "Hey, I'm doing that," and I hear it more now. And my dad's like, "I'm proud of you. I'm proud. You're the only one that in our family that can go the middle of nowhere and know no one and pull off what you've pulled off."
Yeah.
And coming from my dad, that means something. Like that
That's a big
means something.
deal. For
That's a
sure it
huge
does.
deal. Because I mean, my dad's very successful, and but he's a hard worker too. Like my dad was supposed to retire over 10, 15 years ago. Still goes to
Mm.
shop every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
My daughter Katie, she laughs all the time. She goes, "You have no idea how much you're like Pop." She's like, "You'll be talking and it's like, oh my God, there's Pop."
Yeah.
Or you'll laugh and it's like, "Oh my God, there's Pop."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't see it right away, but it's kind of neat though. I mean, I talk to my parents more being here than I did when I was in Ontario.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know, I think it's just because when you're around, you're always around. You're there.
Yeah.
You don't really think anything of it. You don't think of calling, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now that I'm away, there's
It's
more,
different.
you call more. It's
Yeah.
it's just
Well,
different.
and I think everybody's older, everybody's gone through stuff. Like I think it's a different stage, and it's
Yeah.
that's being
It's just
able
the way it
to,
goes.
yeah, like it's just everybody's grown, and I think the older we get, maybe the little bit softer people can get, and they're
Yeah.
more liable to tell you what they're feeling, hopefully
Yeah.
in a good way, not always in a bad way.
But you know what? That's one thing I will say about my father. Like he's right. He's honest with me. Like I bounce stuff off my dad because I need to know. Like a perfect
Yeah.
example. We did sub work out in Nova Scotia. That didn't
Mhm.
work. It just didn't work.
Yeah.
No matter what, like it was one thing or another. Nothing against the guys out there, but it just didn't work. And
Yeah.
we went out and bought a whole different unit for that work. And
Yeah.
as soon as I got back, I told Tina, I said, "Nope, we're selling it. We're selling everything. We're selling that unit." Because she's like, "Oh no, well, let's wait." I said, "Nope, nope, nope, nope. We're selling it. It's the only
Yeah.
thing we got for payments. We're selling it."
Yeah.
But you know what? I phoned my dad first. And I kind of was a little emotional and a few tears going. And I said, "Dad, I just want to make sure I'm doing the right thing." And because
Yeah.
it's my dad, he's it's almost with my father. It's almost like everything he does and touches just turns into gold. Like
Yeah.
he's. I mean, sure, there's background there that we don't see on
Mhm.
how hard Dad struggled to make things work, or we don't see that background of it, but it's just Dad's always, I don't know, he's just, between him and my brother Lou, they're the smartest businessmen I know.
Yeah.
So I lean on him and I phone my dad. He said to me, he goes, "Dave," he goes, "you're doing exactly what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Don't second guess it. Just do it." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay." And it worked out,
Yeah.
right? But it's kind of neat. Like where before when I was in Ontario, I never phoned my dad and asked him that question.
Yeah.
Because I
He
didn't,
probably
and
he's got a different, like, now because of what you've gone through and how you've grown and all of the things, there's going to be a different level of respect there from him to you.
yeah, well, and you know what? To be honest with you, when I was in Ontario, though, the reason I wouldn't go to my father is because I mean I was always considered kind of the fuck up, where I do such
Yeah.
stupid shit, or I didn't want I didn't want to let Dad down. I didn't want him to know
Yeah.
I'm having a problem with this or a problem with that. No, I'm not telling Dad that. Now it's different
Yeah.
because now I'm out here and I've made everything out here on my own. Now I look to Dad for guidance because what I've built, I've done on my own, and now I go to my dad and go, "Okay, Dad,
Yeah.
am I doing the right thing?" He's like, you
Right.
haven't had to ask me. You're doing
Yeah.
what you're supposed to be doing. He goes, you're doing it better
Yeah.
than anyone. He goes, don't worry about it. Just do your thing. Oh, now what's Katie saying here? Professional live stream, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, it's time to go to the gig, Dad.
There you go. I've just been told by the second person in our house.
Oh my God.
Okay, Katie, we'll end this soon, kiddo.
We'll wrap it up. We'll wrap it up. We'll wrap it up, but she's got to promise that there's going to be, like, is it going to be recorded or do we get to see it?
I'll be there. I'll be doing live.
Oh, good. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I was just
Okay,
like,
we'll
I
wrap
don't
it
know
up,
if you.
Katie.
Well, I don't know if you've seen the last live I did with her performance, didn't you?
Yes. Oh my
So,
gosh. Like, unbelievable. And was it when she was at school and they were like, there was three of
yeah,
them?
it was. I can't remember what you call what she did at school, but it was like
Yeah.
just a little. Oh, maybe she's still
She's,
there. What was that called, Katie? That you
yeah,
did at
what,
school that me and Mom came and looked at or
because
watched?
it was unreal too. Like, it's
Ah,
just,
she
yeah.
may not answer. That's okay. It
We'll
was
get,
yeah. It was like just a little recital or whatever.
yeah,
So
she'll be able to tell us when she comes on live.
there you go. So
So we should wrap it up anyways, but I just thank you for sticking with me.
well, like I said, I think it was partially my fault too, though, because my iPad wouldn't let me join, and
Yeah.
then someone said it could be your phone. I'm like, nah, it's probably my iPad. I'll switch to my phone.
And that's, you know what, I switched to
So
my phone too. So
there you go.
noted
Yes.
technology people. But yeah. So is there anything you want to say to we'll address the newbies, because there's been a few guys that have gone out on their own and they're like under 30 for sure, I think. Is there
It's
anything
just
that they need to know? I'm going to say that I always say when we see the posts and sometimes they get a little bit ahead of themselves, and my comment will always be, don't forget where you came from.
yes.
Let's not put the head too big before, like, you're just starting. So,
Yeah.
which is awesome, and we're very excited for you.
Yeah. No, I mean that's what I would say is the guys that are starting new, start humble.
Yeah.
Because the problem is if you're not humble, someone like me will make you humble.
Yeah.
Or someone like Rusty or whatever. You
Yeah.
will become humble really quickly.
Yeah.
Right? That's the whole thing. You got to be humble. And you know what? Take the shit when you take the shit, because
Yeah.
you can take all the praises you want, but if you can't take the shit too, wrong business.
Yeah.
Because that's the biggest thing. I mean, it's
Yeah.
going to suck. Plain simple, it's going to suck.
Yeah.
One thing I've always said to new guys I've trained, I said, listen, you're going to have a dark cloud over your head for the next 6 months to a year, and it's going to suck. But if you put up with it and you get through that, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the easiest way to do it is there's going to be a cloud. You just got to wait for it to go away.
Yeah.
So,
Ask the questions, even if you think it's going to be embarrassing. Ask the questions. Reach
absolutely.
out.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
The thing is, there's nowhere else that they're going to find people that will just help them.
Right. Right. And not ask for anything in return.
Yeah. Because
You know,
everybody's
like, I mean, right. I mean, perfect example is Trevor up in PEI.
Mm-hmm.
He was
Yes.
having a problem.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I have a PMC machine here. What part do you need? He showed me, and I'm like, that looks like the same part.
Yeah.
And we matched up. And I said, yeah, that's the same part. I said, okay, I'm done here at like 3. I said, you start heading my way, I start heading yours. And he was running. right? He finally got the part there last week given to him or sent to him. And he's like, I'll get the part back to you probably the beginning of the week, Dave. But without that part, he wouldn't have been spraying.
Right.
And without Spray Foam Worldwide, we would never have met. So
You wouldn't have that connection. Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But anyways, before Katie comes in and kicks me in the nuts, or before I get in shit, even more than RAM, we should shut her down.
I am very glad you persisted with me and saying, like, we got to do a live, Carla. We got to go live. And I'm like, yeah, we will. And then I would put it off and put it off. It's like, we better just do it. So thank you for the encouragement. And thank you for working with me.
Absolutely.
Because we do work together. So, yes, I appreciate that.
You are worth every dime.
Oh,
you keep my Facebook all updated, and yeah, it's great.
I mean,
if anyone's out there that needs help, this is the woman to help you.
Well, I try my best. Tina is the boss of both of us, so we just know that for sure. She keeps us in line.
Absolutely. Hey, it's been 20 years. It's been 20 years and she hasn't kicked me out yet, so.
There you go. So.
I'm doing something right.
One day the four of us will get to meet in person. And
Absolutely.
I'm not sure we'll be able to handle it, but we'll do it.
Oh, I'm sure me and Rex will be just fine. You two?
Yeah. We may have to sit at another table.
I mean, I'm enough on my own. Wait till me and Rex get together. You guys are both fucked. You're both fucked.
Yeah. Tina and I'll sit at another table.
I can just see that. He'll be like, yeah, we don't know who those fucking guys are, but
I don't know who they are. Yeah, they're weird.
Oh no. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can see that.
All right. My goodness. All right. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure.
We will do it again, I'm sure, sometime down the road.
Perfect.
Everybody that joined, thank you for joining us, and we will catch you next Sunday. I will get you to the time, but the man that we've been talking about in this live will be joining us, and it's going to be Rusty. So we will see you guys all next week. Bye for now.
See ya. Bye.